Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the Camping Universe Truck Series. Today, we're at the City of Fountains 150 at the virtual Kansas Speedway. Looking forward to another great night. Good to be back in the booth among friends. And as always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I'm James East of the booth, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to head out for single truck qualifying here today. Going to be interesting to see how this shakes up for the competitors. This is one of those tracks that seems to be about wide open for the first 10 laps on a set of tires. As you're currently watching Kevin Nelson in the 09 Chevrolet making his way out in the Bud Light backed machine. Looking to be a pretty healthy grid here today. I believe about 30 competitors have made their way out to the track for practice and qualifying. As let's see what Nelson in the 09 can do. And we've also got Caleb Nelson out on track as well, the two teammates with Nelson Motorsports. Right now it's Corey Melton sitting on top of provisional pole with a 31.21 for his opening lap. Going to be interesting to see what's the fastest lap time. Is it the first lap for these competitors or will it be the second lap? Looks like it may be the first lap for some of these guys, as Corey Melton was unable to best his 31.21 his second time by. Let's see what Kevin Nelson can do. Kevin clicks off a 34.28, and he is going to bring it in after one lap. Norman King going out on track in the number 28 Ford F-150. Norman wasn't super comfortable in practice today, but let's see if maybe he can find a little bit more speed here in qualifying, as over 22 drivers have put down time so far. It's still Melton on top of pole with Sykes, Nelson, Schultz, Newton rounding out our top five so far. Let's see what King can do as he comes across the line for the first time with his flying lap. Clicks off a 31.64, not bad, good enough for 21st. 24 drivers have put down times. As look at that, King sends it sliding around. Got Nicholas in the number 10 machine out on track. His opening lap was a 31.55, good enough for 20th. Let's see what he can improve. But man, look at the live timing tower on the left side of your screen. Not a lot of real estate separating about 20 drivers here. Wassenaar unable to improve on a 31.55. He's going to have to settle for 20th. Nicholas Wing makes his way out on track in the number 99 machine. Our only competitor out of 25 drivers that has yet to put down a time here. And Wing will be the last driver to put down a qualifying time as he starts his flying lap here in the number 99. As always, thank you to our fans, friends, and family from across the world that tunes in week in and week out supporting your favorite drivers here at the Camping Universe Truck Series. We couldn't do it without you guys, and I got to say on behalf of the racers, we absolutely appreciate you all tuning in. Pretty much all of our racers go back and watch these broadcasts afterwards once they've completed their night of racing. Wing is going to throw away his qualifying time with a 38.67. So he's going to be happy starting at the back of the grid here today. And I believe that is going to do it for qualifying. And that is it. We're going to get them gridded up, get ready to go out. And we're going to take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Corey Melton, the number 48 machine up front. Clark Janekin starting second. Jeffrey Sykes starting third. Caleb Nelson starting fourth. Cody Schultz will be fifth on the grid. Marshall Newton starting 6th. Brian Ziegler starting 7th. Stephen Miock starting 8th. Jared Ziegler starting 9th. Darren Clement starting 10th. Jesse Rathburn starting 11th. Dave Gage in the 404 will be starting 12th on the grid. Spencer Chisnall starting 13th. Brighton Hutchins starting 14th. Daniel J. Johnson starting 15th. Mark Proctor starting 16th. Craig Lowen starting 17th. Antonio Bianchi starting 18th. Dylan Schultz starting 19th. Nicholas Wassener starting 20th. Norman King starting 21st. Brian Robinson starting 22nd. Tracy Wooten starting 23rd. Kevin Nelson will be starting 24th on the grid. And then Nicholas Wing and the number 99 machine will round out our 25 truck grid here today for the City of Fountains 150. We're going to go through a quick driver's meeting, a final reminder for some of the competitors on what the rules are and what the expectations of our drivers are before we send them out for 100 laps. This is going to be very interesting to see how things shake up. Some drivers were extremely comfortable coming in tonight. Some drivers not quite happy with what they were able to put down out here. As I take this moment to drink some water, recovering from COVID, so it's good to be back here with the Camping Universe family. One of the bigger truck series that we broadcast week in and week out. A lot of great drivers, a lot of close racing. As right now the drivers are going to finish up their final drivers meeting notes before we go out and get ready to start the party. Last week in Indianapolis was a pretty exciting event. We had 2 cautions for 6 laps, 3 different leaders, and 4 lead changes over the course of the hour-long 60-lap showdown. But it was Clark Janekin bringing it home at the end with Caleb Nelson scoring 2nd place points, Marshall Newton getting 3rd. Now, I know Newton, one of the drivers, that was a little upset. Not upset, but disappointed that the race was not broadcasted since I was out sick. He said, man, this is the one time I get up on the podium and you're not even around to interview me. So keep an eye on Marshall Newton out there in the martial arts back truck. See if he can make it 2 in a row. He knows he's trying to fight hard for that TV time here at the City of Fountains 150. And we are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get them sorted up behind our iRacing pace car, where we're going to go 100 laps. It's Corey Melton, Clark Janekin in your front row here today. As, I believe Janekin had a bit of a bobble there in the Radio 1, maybe some sort of connectivity issue. Pace car makes its way down pit road. And the green flag will fly here at Kansas. Away they go. Clark Janekin still having problems. Corey Melton out front. Jeffrey Sykes slots into 3rd with Caleb Nelson in tow. Again, these guys have about 10 hard laps where they can just hold it wide open before the tire wear really starts to play a factor. But look at this. Here comes Jeffrey Sykes in the 04 machine. He's going to look to the inside of Janekin coming out of turn 4. Not quite able to make it stick. We're going to cycle a little bit further back. We saw some 3-wide action. You're watching Jared Ziegler, the number 8 machine, trying to track down Dave Gage in the 404. Jeffrey Sykes has moved up into 2nd as Gage and Ziegler are trying to get around Clement in the number 32 machine. They're going to hint at 3 wide once more. going to look back up front, though, where things are heating up. It's still Melton and Janekin out front. Jeffrey Sykes has taken over third place. Caleb Nelson fourth. Marshall Newton's moved up to fifth. Caleb Nelson trying to get that bottom groove formed up as it is Melton and Janekin still running the high line here. Not a lot of people willing to sit in single file quite yet. Everybody's still trying to shake things up. Towards the back, I think Daniel J. Jensen, Tracy Wooten, Brian Robinson all involved in an incident. Let's take a quick look at that one, but that will bring out the caution for the first time here at Kansas. Ooh, we're going to back that one up. So we're watching the number 97 involved in that one. And the 29 of Jensen can't get away from each other. That also collects Antonio Bianchi. Tracy Wooten, I believe, involved with that one. A hard hit, the number 14 machine. A lot of good drivers collected. We're going to take out another angle here. Watching Tracy Wooten, the number 14 machine. He's a late entry into that wreck. Locks up the brakes to try and avoid the damage in front of him, but too little too late. So that's going to be Jensen, Wooten, Bianchi, Robinson, all involved with that one. To bring out the first caution here at Kansas. I believe most drivers are going to opt to stay out. Caleb Nelson came down pit lane in the 07 machine. An interesting call to see that happen early on. So currently it is Caleb Nelson, Brighton Hutchins, Jesse Rathburn, Craig Lowen, Mark Proctor, Norman King, Kevin Nelson, Nicholas Wing, Antonio Bianchi, Brian Robinson, Daniel J. Jensen, all coming down pit lane. Now some of these drivers are getting some mandatory repairs done on their race trucks, and then some drivers are going to try and switch up the strategy early on. Not much has shaken up inside the top five except for Marshall Newton in the number 76. He's up 2 spots, starting in 6th, has worked his way up into 4th here. But it's still Melton, Janekin, Sykes, Newton, Schultz, your top 5. The 3 drivers still in pit lane, Antonio Bianchi, Brian Robinson, Daniel J. Jensen, all getting work done on those machines. And we're going to get the field formed up, double file once more. As we get ready for the first restart of the night. Pace car makes its way in. And the green flag will fly for Corey Melton and Clark Janekin on the front row once more. Marshall Newton, the number 76 machine, trying to make moves early on and keep Cody Schultz behind him. As the top 6 or 7 breaks down single file, but look at this, here comes Jared Ziegler battling with Brian Ziegler, the number 8, as they go side by side, trying to catch up to Steven Miock and the number 95 machine. Cody Schultz, number 30, drops down low, trying to eke out just a little bit more speed here. And look at this, the whole field's going double file. Clark Chinek and Jeffrey Sykes going side by side up front. Right behind them, they've got Cody Schultz, Marshall Newton, Jared Ziegler all driving hard. Jared Ziegler with a big run on the inside line. And the bright pink Baskin-Robbins number 8 Chevrolet. Ooh. Brian Ziegler had a bit of a moment, might have gotten too far down the apron. Number 7 gets a little bit unsorted. Thankfully, he didn't get into the side of Marshall Newton, but right now, Jared Ziegler, the fastest truck on track, clicks off a 31.26. How long are these guys going to be able to hold that 2 wide? They're about 4 or 5 rows deep. Brian Ziegler slots in behind Jared Ziegler, see if he can give a push. Projecting the family a little bit further up in the field. Ooh, we're hitting at 3 wide as you're on board with Jared Ziegler. And you're watching Cody Schultz, Jeffrey Sykes go side by side. Sykes still on the inside line. Schultz on the high line trying to chase Clark Chinek's number 81 machine. These guys are battling hard early on. Ooh, looks like Schultz had a little bit of a rear end wiggle in the number 30 machine. Jared Ziegler, the number 8, had to check up just ever so slightly. And look at this, Spencer Chisnall, the number 24 machine. He's made big moves early on. He is up about 6 spots. Starting at 13th, worked his way up into, I believe it's 7th, and the number 24 machine. Seems like maybe there's something to that inside line. Cody Schultz gets a hard shove, goes in the outside wall. The field scatters around him. So now it is Melton, Sykes, Janekin, Brian Ziegler, and Chisnall, your top 5. It's going to be interesting to see how long these guys can push so hard for before the tire wear starts to become a factor. As now Caleb Nelson dives to the inside line in the 07 machine, making his way around Chisnall. Jared Ziegler, number 8 machine, is going to try to do the same. Let's see if he can make it happen going into turn 1. Man, these guys are racing hard here today. Jeffrey Sykes and Brian Ziegler having a bit of side-by-side action. Sykes looks to the inside line, but can he carry the momentum out of the corner? As it is still Corey Melton out front, the number 48 machine, chased by Clark Chinek. But Jeffrey Sykes doing everything in his power to get that 04 machine hooked up, carry some speed off of that inside groove as you're on board with Brian Ziegler. Gets a bit of a run on the outside of Caleb Nelson. Oh, and that sun glare really starting to affect some of these drivers out here. Bit of a blind spot going through turns 3 and 4. No, again, nobody's really settled in single file. Jeffrey Sykes still doing everything in his power to carry that inside line. I'm not sure if Sykes in the 04 machine is going to maybe burn up a little bit too much tire running that route compared to Melton and Janek, and have been glued to that high side. It'll be interesting to see how this affects these drivers, especially if we do get that long green flag run. That's kind of the norm here for the Camping Universe Truck Series. Now it is Janek and Sykes side by side for second place. Melton still out front, hasn't been pressured too much from his competitors. As now Caleb Nelson's also gone to the high line. I like Caleb Nelson's running all the lines, trying to make something stick here today. Uh-oh, the yellow flag comes out once more. As I see Chisnall and Newton involved in that incident, let's take a look. Oh! Newton and Chisnall get hooked. We're going to watch that from one other angle, a little bit slow-mo. It looks like that may have been Brian Ziegler. Has a bit of a moment. Chisnall maybe tried to swerve to avoid it, just unfortunately hooks Marshall. The number 61 machine also getting tagged. That was Dylan Schultz able to get through clean. Excuse me, not clean, get tagged. We're going to watch that one once more while we have time. So watch the number 7, Brian Ziegler gets a little bit loose. Chisnall checks up, swerves to the left. Maybe didn't know Marshall was there, corrected just a little bit too late. And just hooks Marshall Newton, the number 76, Yingling-backed race truck. Sends him around, and then watch this. Here comes Dylan Schultz, who's going to get tagged. Able to hit both trucks, unfortunately. And that is going to bring out another pit cycle with our second caution of the night. Caleb Nelson, Stephen Miock, Craig Lowen, Tracy Wooten, Dylan Schultz opting to stay out here. Now Nelson and Lowen came in on lap 5 for maybe a set of tires to try and throw the strategy off. But they're going to be surrounded. The top 5 staying out and everyone else coming in on lap 21 for possibly just fuel. We see a few drivers that may have taken 4 tires. Jeffrey Sykes, Jared Ziegler, Brian Ziegler, and Norman King. Looks like they took a 4-tire stop. Everybody else looks like they either took 2 tires or just fuel here. And we just got a report that Antonio Bianchi, the road race extraordinaire, is out for the evening. We're going to see if we can get him up into the booth. Antonio, you got your ears on.
Yes, I do.
The open wheel extraordinaire has a bit of bad luck. What happened out there in the number 51?
Well, you know, I was running in like, I think 18th or 17th place or something like that. And the 2 guys in front of us, or in front of me, I guess, were just you know, driving it too hard too early is just unfortunate. I don't know. In my opinion, it was some totally overly aggressive driving for lap 4 and for 16th place. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe I would have understood it if it was like for a top 5 position or something. But like guys were racing for top 15 and we're just getting wrecked out. And now 2 guys are sitting out of the race for no reason. So kind of sucks.
Now, hopefully, so I mean, how bad is the damage on number 51? Are we talking 10, 15 minutes, or what are we looking at?
Oh no, it's toast. It's a complete motor swap, so it's like 32 minutes or something.
Oh, hate to see that for Bianchi. I mean, always a tough time. Thank you for hopping in the booth with us. Hate to see your night ended early, and hope to see you come back strong next week, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you later.
That was Antonio Bianchi, the number 51 machine. Unfortunately, going back to the hauler early tonight. And a little bit upset as some of the drivers that we've seen maybe push a little bit too hard too early here. It's a 100-lap race. We've had our second caution of the night. I believe it's the second caution. So it looks like that's going to be Antonio Bianchi, Brian Robinson, both retired from tonight. We still have Daniel J. Jensen, Spencer Chisnall, Dylan Schultz in pit road getting repairs done. But we're going to get ready to send them back out here for the City of Fountains 150, try and knock out the remaining 3 quarters of tonight's race. And here we go. Caleb Nelson with a strong launch. We'll get a couple of laps led here. Oh, Norman King has all sorts of moments there towards the back. King goes off track. I think Proctor went off track. We'll have to take another look at that here in a moment. Looks like Proctor dips down low. King has an incident, and then Proctor just kind of has nowhere to go. Gets into him. Up front, and still Caleb Nelson, Stephen Miock going side by side for the race lead. Nelson's in the 07. Miock is in the number 95 machine. And this has been a bit of a bloodbath as far as the restart goes. There's Chisnall leaving pit road after heavy damage on the front of the number 24 machine. But look at this, they're side by side for the lead as Nelson looks to the inside line. Miock in the number 95 goes high. You've also got Craig Lowen in the number 12 out of nowhere battling for that 3rd place spot. He's chased by Jared Ziegler, Clark Janek, and Tracy Wooten just has a moment by himself. He's going to get to pit lane in time. We'll take another quick look at that one as the caution will not come out. Watching Wooten in the number 14 machine. Let's see what happens. Not sure what happens. Maybe he has a bit of a mechanical, and he's going to retire early as well. Up front, it's still Nelson and Miock. Jared Ziegler's entered the party in 3rd place in the bright pink number 8 machine. And he's going to dive to the inside line to try and take over the race lead. It looks like he's going to make it happen. As yes, he will take over the lead from Nelson and Miock. Now, Jared Ziegler, he came in on lap 21 for 4 fresh Goodyears and a tank of gas. So he's got the tire wear to really spend here. As now Jared Ziegler in the number 8 machine is going to try and check out, able to use those fresh tires to his advantage. Now Caleb Nelson came in on lap 5. I don't believe he took 4 fresh tires. Stephen Miock still on his original set in the number 95 machine. And also keep an eye out on Jeffrey Sykes in the 04. He's on 4 fresh Goodyears as well as Brian Ziegler. So expect to see these guys pushing hard and early. Sykes works his way back up into second, dives to the inside of Caleb Nelson. Brian Ziegler also in tow in the number 7 machine. These guys with 4 fresh tires really showing how much faster they can be with that new rubber underneath them. And look at this, here comes Jeffrey Sykes. He's getting ready to challenge Jared Ziegler for the race lead. Sykes in the 04 goes the inside line. Jared Ziegler under the bright pink number 8. He still holds the high line, trying to carry a little bit more momentum and maybe try and keep that tire wear underneath him. Now as these runs start to progress and we have a large portion of the field, not a large portion, but a healthy portion of the field crash out, that's going to be less drivers out on track to bring out that caution. As look at this, Brian Ziegler, he's making moves as well on the number 7 machine. Leaves Jared out to dry and tucks in behind Jeffrey Sykes in the inside line. Ooh, Jared gets pinched just ever so slightly on the high line, able to hold on to it and keep the number 8 off the wall. It seems to be that the guys who came in on lap 21, those new tires really playing well to their advantage here. As it is still Jeffrey Sykes out front, Brian Ziegler second. They've got about a 0.4 of a second over Jared Ziegler, who is in third. And then Caleb Nelson, who came in on lap 5, still holding on to 4th. Stephen Miock back in 5th. Now Miock is number 95. He has not pitted yet tonight. So he's going to be a driver that's really hoping for a caution here. So he is not left out there with their original set of tires. He's going to want to try and avoid a green flag stop, as that would really put him down here in Kansas. Brian Ziegler still staying glued to Jeffrey Sykes, your race leader. Not much time has been shared one way or the other here. And I've got to wonder how that arrow is going to affect Brian Ziegler in second place. If that's going to tighten the truck up and maybe make it a little bit more front end pushy as the run progresses, or what we may see. Cycle a little bit further back in the field. Clark Shinekin still running strong in 6th. He's down 4 spots from where he originally started, but I believe he's going to be one of those drivers that we see play the tire game and try and plan on a green flag run here. He's also chased by Corey Melton, another front runner that knows what it takes to be up front as the end of the race draws to a conclusion. So a couple guys running 6th and 7th that are definitely going to be noteworthy. Up front, Brian Ziegler still putting the pressure on Jeffrey Sykes. As the next couple of laps, lap traffic will play a role here for our competitors. Looks like that's going to be Dylan Schultz, and the number 61 yields the preferred racing line to your race leaders, going high to allow Jeffrey Sykes and Brian Ziegler through. You've also got a hand in Stephen Miock in the number 95 machine, still out there on his original set of tires. He has not come down pit lane yet, but holding on to fifth, still up 3 positions from where he started here today. So in a field, pretty much where the majority of the racers came in on lap 21 for at least fuel, he's doing a great job holding on to it. Up front, Jeffrey Sykes has extended his lead ever so slightly, about 0.4 of a second over Brian Ziegler. Now your top 3 are all on the same tire strategy. Sykes, Brian Ziegler, Jared Ziegler running 1, 2, 3. All came in on lap 21, and it appears they took 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas. As once again, that's going to be lap traffic playing a role here. Hopefully not too big of a role. Not quite sure who Jeffrey Sykes is about to go around. It could be Norman King in the number 28 machine. Yes, it is. So King will go 1 lap down here at Kansas as Sykes gets through nice and clean. King's going to drop in ever so briefly behind Sykes, pick up the draft. Now, the night's not over for King. He's in lucky dog contention, and a night that was punctuated by a few early cautions. We may see it come out once more, but as the run progresses, that's a good sign for things to come. These competitors will keep it pointed in the right direction and keep charging along out here today. It's like a little bit further back, you've got Clark Janekin in 5th place. He's still chased by Corey Melton, Darren Clement, Stephen Miock. Kevin Nelson and Cody Schultz battling for 9th place. Now Kevin Nelson in the 09 machine, he is up about 15 spots from where he started, as he is still side by side with Cody Schultz going through turns 3 and 4 here. And they've also got, I believe that's Brighton Hutchins in tow as well, watching this battle unfold. Maybe trying to decide if and when he's going to make a move, or if he's going to be happy watching the 09 of Nelson and the number 30 machine of Schultz battle it out here. Ooh, they're getting nice and close here going down the back stretch. As you've also got, I believe that's Dave Gage and Craig Lowen battling hard. Gage is currently 12th. Lowen is 13th, up 4 spots so far tonight. And then you've also got Nicholas Wing in the number 99 machine who's watching this. Great racing all across the track here, but we're going to go back to that battle for 9th as they have really been heating it up. Brighton Hutchins, Cody Schultz now battling side by side. Drivers quickly dropping into single file formation to cut through traffic before resuming their race. And that is one of the fun things here at the Camping Universe, from 1st to 15th. Great battles all the way across the track. A lot of guys at very similar pace out here, and that leads to good racing for all parties involved if you can survive the opening laps. Jeffrey Sykes, still your race leader in the 04 machine. He's got about a 1.5 second advantage over Brian Ziegler. Brian Ziegler, he's got about a half second over the younger Jared Ziegler. As right now it is Sykes, Brian Ziegler, Jared Ziegler, Nelson, and Janekin making up your top 5 here. Sykes is up 2 spots, Brian Ziegler's up 5, and Jared Ziegler's up 6 spots as we get the halfway mark of tonight's race. As Sykes clicks off a 32.68 as he's about 32 laps on that set of tires. The pace has fallen off by about 1.3 seconds, but in the grand scheme of things, not too much. Stephen Miock finally comes down pit lane after staying out, so that means these guys are good for about 50 laps on a tank of gas before they absolutely have to come in. Maybe a little bit less since we did have those early cautions shaking things up. So that means we're going to expect to see a large portion of the field coming around lap 70 if we do not punctuate this green flag run with a caution. So expected about 10-15 more laps for Jeffrey Sykes before your race leader has to come down pit lane. Clark Janekin finds himself battling with Corey Melton. This is the battle for 5th on screen. Janekin in the bright blue number 81 and Melton in the number 48. Chisnall makes his way out of pit lane after staying in his box for about 9 minutes, hammering that truck back into shape. And for the most part, things to be kind of calmed down here. Dave Gage makes his way around Craig Lowen. Lowen looks like he's going to be coming down pit lane or maybe having some sort of problems. He's going to drop down the running order in the number 12 machine. Melton still getting closer and closer to Janekin, but keep an eye on Darren Clement as well, number 32 Ford F-150, as he's starting to catch up. Look at this, Caleb Nelson, your 4th place runner. He's going to come down pit lane. He has not been in since lap 5. That does confirm our theory about 50 laps is what these guys are going to be able to do here. As Caleb Nelson, Bryton Hutchins, Jesse Rathburn all come down pit lane. It's going to be very interesting to see how that affects maybe the strategy among different drivers. Jared Ziegler also comes down pit lane in the number 8 machine. Now, Jared Ziegler came in on lap 21. Maybe calling in an early pit stop, a bit of an undercut to try and grab those 4 fresh tires and stay out strong till the end. It's going to be interesting to see if we see Jeffrey Sykes, Brian Ziegler, Janek, and Melton, Clement, if they're going to come in early or if they're going to stretch it all the way out to about that lap 70 mark. As Sykes last time by a 32.86, 1.4 seconds off of his fastest lap of the race. Not losing tons of time here with those original set of tires. As he once again cuts through traffic. Corey Melton also coming out pit lane in the number 48 machine. So how long are your top 8, top 9 drivers going to stay out here? Everybody inside the top 9 except for Newton, who came in on lap 23. Everyone else came in at the lap 21 mark. Cody Schultz, number 30, he brings it down pit lane on lap 60. So now we're going to have about 8 drivers on the lead lap that have not pitted yet. But again, all these drivers are going to have to come in about 9 laps is what we think the maximum fuel window is going to be for these competitors. Kevin Nelson, the 09, he brings it down pit lane on lap 61. As well as Nicholas Wing in the number 99 machine. But how long are these drivers going to stretch it out for? The top 6 has not pitted since lap 21, save for Marshall Newton, the number 76, who came in on lap 23. So he'll be able to go just a couple laps longer than his competitors. But now the pace is really falling off for the guys as Jeffrey Sykes has a big blink. But almost everybody's clicking off 33s now compared to the low to mid 31s they were doing on a fresh set. So these good years for these Gander Mountain trucks, they will stay pretty consistent. They will gradually fall off and then almost plateau for a while. But then after you get past that point, they kind of fall off a cliff as far as lap times are going. And if we're going to see a late caution, this is when it's going to happen. It's now you've got drivers coming out that have leading pace with those 4 fresh tires compared to guys that have not come in about 42 laps. As it is only 6 drivers on the lead lap here, 64 laps in at Kansas for the City of Fountains 150. Sykes still cutting through traffic. That's the number 97 machine of Jesse Rathburn. Now Rathburn came in on lap 56 for 4 fresh tires, so he's trying to get his laps back here. Clark Janek in number 81, he comes down pit road, as well as Darren Clement. So now it is Jeffrey Sykes, Brian Ziegler, Dave Gage, and Marshall Newton who are still stretching out this fuel window. Sykes last time by a 33.03 compared to Brian Ziegler's 33.29. Dave Gage also comes down pit road. So Sykes, your race leader, is going to try and stretch it out as long as he possibly can. Now Newton in the number 76 machine currently 3rd on track. He's almost about to go a lap down. The race leaders are about 4 or 5 seconds back of Jeffrey Sykes before Marshall Newton goes a lap down, so he's going to hope that Sykes comes in. But Sykes has, again, an internet problem. As here comes number 99 machine of Nicholas Wing. Again, Wing came in on lap 60 with those fresh tires. And he's going to try and get a lap back. Brian Ziegler, your second place runner, the number 7, he dives down pit lane. So now it's just Jeffrey Sykes and Marshall Newton, the 2 trucks on course that have not boxed for the final time here. And Now Sykes also has a few drivers coming through that may tighten up the truck just ever so slightly for him. So it is just Sykes and Newton out there chugging along. We're expecting the next couple of laps, Sykes is going to have to come in here. As it is Sykes and Newton, the only drivers currently on the lead lap without having that pit yet. And they're going to stretch it all the way out if possible. Now Norman King currently 5th on track, number 28. He is also not boxed since 21. We did not see him not pitting yet, but he's opting to stay out as long as he can. And look at that. Jeffrey Sykes dives down pit lane, almost misses it. So now, briefly, it'll be Marshall Newton, your race leader, number 76. But he's about to get swallowed up as Jared Ziegler is charging hard behind him in 3rd place in the number 8 machine. Newton is on that set of tires that he has not come in since lap 23, and he did not take 4 tires on that stop. And he will dive down pit lane, so that's going to take Jared Ziegler will be your new race leader. He's going to have about a 1.2 second advantage over Caleb Nelson. Both Jared Ziegler, Caleb Nelson came in around that lap 56-57 mark. As Dave Gage in the 404 machine is going to try and get around Jared Ziegler to get his lap back. Gage is in the bright yellow 404 truck. Jared Ziegler in the bright pink number 8, who is your race leader. Looks like everybody's able to get through pit lane relatively easy. Now, something to note here. It looks like Clark Janek in the number 81 machine may have gotten a speeding penalty as he was in his box for 55 seconds. That is a pretty good indicator that he may have had a speeding violation coming down pit road. Janek has been one of the fastest trucks all season long. Unfortunate to see him with that string of bad luck here tonight. Jared Ziegler still out front. He's about 0.8 of a second ahead of 2nd place Caleb Nelson and about 3 seconds ahead of 3rd place Corey Melton. Dave Gage doing everything in his power to get his lap back from Jared Ziegler, but he's got to be very careful here. No one wants to be the driver that accidentally crashes out the race leader. And no, the caution comes out on lap 73. Chisnall involved in an incident. Let's take a look and see what happened to the number 24 machine to bring out the final caution. I wonder if Chisnall blew up. Having some sort of problems, tries to get a tow back into pit lane, but doesn't do it quickly enough. And that will bring out the caution on lap 74. Surely everyone's going to take tires if they have any in reserve here. But that is going to be a huge monkey wrench thrown in the plans for all of these competitors after completing those green flag stops. We're going to take a quick driver interview with Stephen Miock. Stephen, you read me?
Yes, sir.
Stephen, it seems like it's a bit of a bloodbath out there. How's it going from your point of view out on track?
I would say sketchy would be the correct terminology, and I'm kind of curious to see how pits are going to play out here. I know I'm going to do some little bit alternative here, and that's bank on on a caution here in about 10 laps come in. I'm going to take 0 tires and a little bit of fuel, actually.
That's a brave move, Cotton. Hopefully it works out well for you. Now, Steven, we're going to let you get back in there so you can focus on your pit stop, but thank you for your time, my friend.
Thank you.
That's Steven in the number 95 machine, who said he's going to do something a little bit wild here. Let's see how that works out for the number 95 machine. He's currently 8th on track. Now, Jared Ziegler, Jeffrey Sykes, Darren Clement, Brian Ziegler, and Cody Schultz opt to stay out. The top 5 going to try and keep that track position over everything else. But this is going to throw a monkey wrench. Now you heard Steven say he's banking on another caution the next 5-10 laps. Let's see if that gamble pays off for the number 95 machine. It looks like Caleb Nelson, Corey Melton, all taking 4 fresh tires on that pit stop on lap 74. Stephen Miock, the only driver inside the top 10 that came in on that cycle that did not take 4 fresh tires. It's going to be about 24 laps to go on this restart. Only the 3rd caution of the night, though, so not quite a terrible race for a lot of these competitors. And still 13 drivers on the lead lap here. Current hard chargers has got to be Kevin Nelson in the 09 machine, as well as Nicholas Wing in the number 99. Both those competitors are about up 15 spots, running 9th and 10th on track. So in a night of misfortune for some, a couple of the guys able to bring home a little bit of good luck as we get ready for the 3rd restart of the night. It's going to be Jared Ziegler, Jeffrey Sykes on the front row. Now, Jared Ziegler, your race leader, he's on 12-lap older tires than Jeffrey Sykes. So let's see how this restart pans out. Who's going to be able to win the tire gamble? Who's going to bet on one more caution to take a set? And then who's willing to bet that we go green for the remaining 24 laps of the City of Fountains 150? The pace car is in. The green flag will fly for Jared Ziegler. And away we go for possibly the final time here tonight. Brian Ziegler makes an early move as well in the number 7 machine to take over the 2nd place spot. Now Brian came in on lap 66 for 4 fresh tires, and it seems to be working as he will take over the race lead from Jared Ziegler, as well as Jeffrey Sykes in the 04 machine trying to hold on. So now it's going to be Brian Ziegler, Jeffrey Sykes, Caleb Nelson, Jared Ziegler, Corey Melton, your top 5 here today. Oh, they make contact. That was Jared Ziegler and I believe Corey Melton that go door to door at the start-finish line, able to get through it nice and clean. Brian Ziegler, your race leader, has a bit of a gap over Caleb Nelson. Here comes Corey Melton as well, number 48 machine, charging up through the field, taking 4 tires on that lap 74 pit stop, as well as Caleb Nelson running second. Caleb Nelson running second on track, puts down the fastest lap of the race with a 31.2. 21 laps left to go for our competitors. Brian Ziegler still out front on a slightly older set of tires, about 8 laps older than the field right behind him with Caleb Nelson. Corey Melton charging hard. Melton running the high line, Caleb Nelson running the inside line, trying to make their way around Brian Ziegler out front. Brian Ziegler was about 2/10 slower his last time by than Nelson or Melton. Those new tires really helping out some of these guys. And they're going to go 3 wide here. Able to get through nice and clean, but it got a little bit squirrely as Corey Melton's going to make it 3 wide once more. He gets in the quarter panel of Caleb Nelson. Caleb Nelson goes for a ride. Able to hold on to it. The field narrowly avoids hitting the 07 machine. Brian Ziegler's going to hold on to the lead. He's got about a 7/10 of a second advantage over Corey Melton with that big bobble when Melton got into the side of Caleb Nelson. Just not enough real estate on track for those guys to make it happen. And that's going to allow Kevin Nelson to move his way up in the 09 machine to avenge his teammate, as now he looks to the inside of Corey Melton. Oh, this is going to be close. Kevin Nelson looks like he's going to take over the second place spot from Corey Melton. Slides up in front of him. Everyone trying to push their way up to the front. Kevin Nelson in the 09 machine, he's up 22 spots from where he started. Another one of those drivers that came in on lap 74 and took 4 fresh tires. Seems like it's working well for him as he's doing his best to whittle away at the advantage that Brian Ziegler has up front. Now, we talked about it earlier, these guys have about 10 hard laps of tires to really throw down wide open pace before the tire wear starts to fall off here in Kansas. And Jeffrey Sykes, he wants to interject himself in the party as well in the 04 machine as he looks to the inside of Corey Melton, seeing if he can pick up that third place spot. As you're on board with Jeffrey Sykes, you can watch Kevin Nelson battle for the lead. He slides up the inside line of Brian Ziegler. Oh, this is going to be close. Corey Melton, he's going to try and answer, go to the inside of Sykes. Sykes may have backed out of it ever so slightly as there's lap traffic in effect here. That's Wooten trying to find whatever route he can to get out of the way of the race leaders, but there's not a whole lot of real estate when everybody's going 2, 3 wide. And the caution will come out as Brighton Hutchins, Norman King, Tracy Wooten get involved in that incident for possibly the final caution. Let's take a look at that one. Stephen Miock also involved. So Wooten's in the number 14 machine, nowhere to go. Oh! Gets absolutely obliterated there. Let's see what happened to Stephen Miock as well. It looks like Stephen's able to get through it relatively smoothly here. And the number 95 machine just having to check up real heavily as Wooten was still careening across the racetrack. Comes to a complete stop to avoid hitting the number 14. Well done. Now Kevin Nelson will be the race leader as the caution comes out. Corey Melton second, Jeffrey Sykes third, Darren Clement fourth, Jesse Rathburn in fifth. But we talked about that earlier with Stephen Miock. Who's going to keep a set of tires here in reserve for a 13 lap shootout? things are really getting out of hand here late in the race. It's going to be about a 12 or 11 lap shootout. Now, Brian Ziegler, Stephen Miock come down pit lane. We know those guys may have tires left in reserve. They're still going to be on the lead lap inside the top 15. Everyone else opting to stay out, maybe not having the tires left in reserve. But if Stephen Miock can make this pan out well as Brian Ziegler, this could be quite the move here. Taking tires late into the run for a final shootout, but the problem is that's going to be a lot of drivers you're going to have to cut through, and everybody's jockeying for position. Brian Ziegler, number 7, is in pit lane for quite a long time, may have had a speeding penalty. We did not see him get involved with any incidents. He's been in his box for 40 seconds so far. Usually about a 55-second or 45 to 50-second pit time is a good indicator that you had some sort of problems. But he may be able to get back out there and stay on the lead lap as he's in and out in 51 seconds. My, oh my, race control is going to be busy after this one, ladies and gentlemen. So what could be the final restart of the night? It'll be 11 to go as they cross the line. They get formed up double file. Well, I say they're going to get formed up double file. Not quite yet, it doesn't look like. As now we're going to get properly formed up. So 11 laps to go as they get ready to restart this race. No, it'll be 10 laps. Not sure if they extended the caution there or what may have happened. Now, a couple notable points of entry. The only drivers that came in were Stephen Miock, Brian Ziegler, and Clark Janekin on that lap 87 to 88 pit stop. So those guys are going to have about 15 lap newer tires than the rest of the field. But with 10 laps left to go, is that enough time to use those tires to your advantage and charge through? Or will you find yourself involved in an incident that can prematurely end your night? Or can't really say prematurely, we made it this far in. As the pace car will be in this time by for a final 10-lap shootout. Who's it going to be, and how important are those new tires that a few of the drivers are going to have? And will it be enough time, or is it going to be Kevin Nelson, Corey Melton, who both came in a lap 74? They're your front row right now, both having 4 relatively fresh tires. Pace car is in. Green flag is out. Here we go. Kevin Nelson, Corey Melton charging hard early on. Jeffrey Sykes also trying to make his way back up to the front. Kevin Nelson, your race leader, up 23 spots from where he started tonight. Corey Melton, though, is not going to let him go unanswered, as he is going to rapidly push his way up to the front. It's Nelson, Melton, Sykes, Rathburn, Clement, your top 5 here. As look at this, Corey Melton goes charging around the outside. Jeffrey Sykes looks to the inside. We're going to briefly go 3 wide. Everybody shuffling around. Can they battle this hard for 9 more laps, or are we going to see tragedy strike for at least one driver on the circuit. Nelson holding on to the race lead in the 09 machine, but Corey Melton driving strong in the 48. You've also got Jeffrey Sykes run the high line trying to find a dance partner. Jesse Rathburn also pushing through here. As this is some white knuckle action all the way through. Kevin Nelson just barely holding on to the race lead here. As Jeffrey Sykes looking for a way through, looking to that inside line, not quite able to make it stick. The number 97 machine, Jesse Rathburn, he wants to make it 3 wide with Corey Melton and Jeffrey Sykes. As you're on board with Caleb Nelson watching this 3-way battle for second. And Caleb Nelson, he's going to interject himself. Here we go. They're bumping and grinding. Everybody able to hold on to it. I spoke too soon. Jesse Rathburn's going to go for a wild ride. And they're still trying to crash as Clark Janekin gets bumped around. Kevin Nelson still holding on to the race lead. Corey Melton pushing hard. Caleb Nelson in the 07 machine, we saw him running up front, and he got into Corey Melton at one point, or Corey Melton got into him. I'm just a broadcaster, not a race control, so let's see if the two Nelson brothers are going to work together and try and bring it home 1 and 2 if they can bump out Corey Melton out of the way, or see where the cards are going to fall here today. Yes, it's Caleb Nelson, Kevin Nelson, and Marshall Newton all racing with Nelson Motorsports. Six laps left to go. Kevin Nelson charging hard. But look at this. Here comes Stephen Miock in the number 95 machine. Has worked his way up to third. He talked about that tire strategy, banking on one more caution so he can come in and take those 4 fresh tires. And it seems to be working well as we're going to take it on board with Darren Clement, fourth on track, number 32 machine. Keep an eye out on Stephen Miock in number 95. He's in 30. He's got the freshest tires up in the top 3 right now as he slots in behind Corey Melton. Looking for a way through, slingshots around the outside line. 4 laps left to go. It's Nelson, Melton, Miock, Clement, and Caleb Nelson making up your top 5. As here comes Steven on the inside line, looking to the inside of Corey Melton as he slots in right behind Kevin Nelson in the 09 Bud Light machine. Miock has found the pace. The gamble seems to be working for the number 95 machine. As they go 3 wide once more across the start-finish line. Kevin Nelson holding on to the race lead just ever so slightly. Stephen Miock looking for any way through that he possibly can. He slides up in front of Corey Melton on the outside as they go side by side down the backstretch for the race lead. It's going to be 2 laps left to go as they cross the line. Stephen Miock is your current race leader. With that last-ditch tire strategy seems to be paying off. Now is Kevin Nelson and Corey Melton going to try and answer? Or are they going to be too busy trying to battle for that second place spot? 2 laps left to go. Corey Melton is in third trying to get around Kevin Nelson. They've been battling hard. They make contact in their back right rear of the 09. Corey Melton looks to the inside line trying to take over that second place spot from Kevin Nelson. Stephen Miock is able to get some ground and breathe. The white flag will fly as Stephen Miock comes around. Corey Melton, Kevin Nelson make contact once more. The white flag is out. Is Kevin Nelson going to be able to answer and try and get around Corey Melton as they go side by side once more? Here comes Darren Clement, number 32 machine. He wants to interject himself in the podium. He looks to the inside line of Nelson, runs him up the racetrack. They make contact. Nelson gets in the outside wall after a little bit of help from Clement. The checkered flag will fly. It's going to be Stephen Miock, Corey Melton, Darren Clement here at the end of the City of Fountains 150. What an absolute wild night here, ladies and gentlemen. What a race for the absolute ages. This Stephen Miock with a big gamble here at the end of the City of Fountains 150 with that tire strategy. Paid out very well for the number 95 machine. I believe that's going to be his first win of the season. And a very well-deserved victory. Burnout. I mean, he gambled and he measured correctly. This is Stephen Miock's third race of the season. His highest career finish was a 7th at Indianapolis. So able to really pay off here today. Guys, he's going to reverse? That's a new one, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I've ever seen the reverse pit party. Had to check my software for a second, make sure we weren't rewinding this bad boy. My camera system doesn't know what to do here. I've never seen this one, my friends. Stephen Miock with probably the oddest celebration I've ever seen in any of my broadcasting career. Yeah, just had to make sure my software is right. We are still live watching the number 95, your race winner, go backwards around the circuit here at Kansas. I definitely haven't seen this before, ladies and gentlemen, but well done. I mean, he earned it, I reckon. As he does one of the funniest post-race interviews or celebrations I've ever seen. Up first, we've got Darren Clement bringing it home in the number 32 machine after quite a wild finish. Darren, I mean, how did that go from your point of view here today?
I mean, it was a fun race. A lot of different strategies out there. A lot of trying to get around everybody that's got a tight draft package truck here at Kansas.
Well, I mean, it seemed to have worked out well. I mean, you guys were bumping and grinding all the way through. Were you worried that a big crash was going to come out there at the end, or are you just driving as hard as you can and hoping things fall well?
Well, we were trying to get up to the front and trying to stay off of, everybody's else's truck, and made a little contact that I'm not happy about with, I think it was the '09 there in turn 4 or turn 3, but I was pushed down on the white line. I didn't have a good arc into the corner, and I was just trying to keep momentum and get the P3.
Well, it seems it worked out very well for you, Darren. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is your first time up on the podium this season. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to the victory circle, my friend. Darren, before I let you sign off and go celebrate with the rest of the friends, who would you like to give a shout-out to that helped put that number 32 Ford F-150 up on the box here today?
My boys over at East Coast Motorsports tonight, calling out some great strategies and letting us know where everybody's at.
Well, great job. Welcome to the victory circle for the first time, and hope to see you carry that success up into the future, my friend.
Thank you.
That was Darren Clement bringing it home in second. Up next, we've got Corey Melton, the number 48 machine, bringing home a second place after a lot of hard racing. Now, Corey, it looks like there's a few different additions to your bodywork at the number 48 after tonight's event.
Are you referring to the sticker on the back?
I was more talking about the body damage, but I also like the decals as well.
Oh, yeah, man, it was these trucks. Tracks like this, they just don't show. I don't know how to explain it, but they make it to where it's pretty even when you're both on equal tires, and you can only do so much. So some contact happens. So I don't take too much of it to heart.
Yeah, I mean, from our point up in the point of view up here in the broadcast, it looked like just really good hard racing all the way through. I mean, were you pretty comfortable with the bumping and grinding that was going on out there, or was that a little bit too much for your taste?
No, I don't mind bumping and grinding. It's just people, a lot of people rush to judgment and need to watch the replays, and then they can talk it out, because in the moment you're obviously mad if you end up being the one getting wrecked. But no, bumping and banging at this package at this track it's just the way it's going to happen, and you got to be able to save it and keep racing.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun from our point of view up here in the booth. I hope it was as well for you, Corey. It's good to be back up here calling your events and good to have you back up in the podium. Before I let you sign off, who would you like to give thanks to that's supporting the number 48 machine behind the scenes this season?
Oh, just my team, AAM, and my family. Other than that, it's just us, bud, and we're glad to have you back. Glad you're healthy, and can't wait to watch the replay.
Well, thank you as always, Corey. Good to be back, and congratulations on a hard-fought second here tonight at Kansas.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You as well, sir. And up next, the man of the hour, the absolute mad lad, Steven, bringing it home in number 95. We had that in-truck interview, and he said you're going to try something a little bit wild, and man, oh man, did you make it pay off here today.
Yeah, I'm actually almost speechless. That actually worked.
We were talking about it up here in the broadcast booth, saying, you know what, it might work, it might not, but out of nowhere, with about 4 laps left to go, the number 95 Chevrolet was just blasting through the field. I mean, you said it, you were going to take that final 4 set of tires. Did you think it was going to go that well? Were you worried about crashing at all with how hard everybody was racing? What were your thoughts in the closing laps?
Well, I was expecting podium. I was not expecting a win. I got real lucky that the guys were able to hang on to it. What was it, lap 93, 94, somewhere in that area? They were 3 going 4 wide just after the start-finish line, and they got into each other, but they managed to keep it going. And I'm just sitting there just audibly cussing to myself and just for them to keep it down there. But, man, I was not expecting to get my second ever win in Camping Universe in the years that I've been here. And granted, I don't run a full-time schedule anymore, but man, these guys, they're great drivers. I will admit I stole the heck out of that one, but you know what? It feels good.
A win is a win, my friend. I mean, you called it, you sunk it. I'm a little bit of disbelief up here in the broadcast booth as well. And now tell me where you learned your victory celebrations at. We've seen burnouts before, but never have I seen a full reverse lap of the circuit in celebration. Is that something that's trademarked to you in the number 95 machine?
Yeah, I kind of took inspiration by the Polish victory lap. I'm like, man, I can't be doing what everyone else is doing. And I would say about 2 years ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a lap of the track in reverse as kind of a mental reflection of the events that occurred, to kind of slow down and wind down, unwind, if you will. Pun, yeah.
Well-deserved win, man. I mean, your third race of the season, coming up strong. You had a 7th was your best before this, and absolutely just stealing the victory here today. Well-deserved win. Huge congratulations. Before we let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the friends, who would you like to give a shout-out to tonight that helped you make the number 95 machine so darn quick?
So I got to give it up to my boys here in Austin Eastsider. That's my go-to adult beverage. So don't drink and drive, but I'm definitely going to have me some drinks now that everything is said and done. And man, thanks to Jared and everyone at Camping Universe for hosting such a great league. Just good, hard racing. It's just great to come in here and just have people that know how to drive. Other people will argue, but I'd say this is a pretty solid group. And if you guys are thinking about joining a league that's very competitive and you'll have somebody to race against, this is the league to join.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Steven. Congratulations on your first victory of this season. Hopefully we'll see you more often up here in the interview room if you do make more rounds throughout the season. And again, congratulations on a night well done.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful night. Hope you enjoyed the show.
And that, my friends, is going to do it for the Camping Universe City of Fountains 150. A lot of great racing. We saw a night with a few cautions, but for the most part, some of the best racing we've had the pleasure of calling so far this season. Well done to all the competitors, and again, well done to Stephen Miock for bringing home that kind of surprise victory after a late race gamble as far as the tire strategy went. On behalf of Camping Universe Truck Series as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East. I'm thanking you all so much for tuning in. It's good to be back in the booth after a bout of COVID and hanging out with my online racing friends. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Don't miss any of the action. The season is still firing up. Have a great night, everyone.